Hi guys! So today I'm going to be talking about my favorite historical romance authors. I really wanted to compile a list of my favorite historical romance authors. So I'm really excited to share these all with you. Some of them will not be a surprise. So let's get right into it. The first author I want to talk about is Lorraine Heath. So I discovered Lorraine Heath about maybe 2 years ago, and I've just fallen in love with her books. I think her books are amazing. She writes angsty, really, some of them are very good at banter, Hate to Love, Second Chance. They're just really, really good. Very unique plots, and I just really love her romances. I think she is an impeccable writer. She's been writing for a really long time, and I just love her romances. So I'll put one up here that's my favorite right now, which is in her like darker historical romance series. It's just so good. So definitely go check her out. And then I have Joanna Shupe. She writes historical romances in the Gilded Age. So if you don't know what the Gilded Age is, it is the time period between like the late 1890s to the early 1900s. But most of them that she's written are in the 1890s. And I just love her books. I've been reading the same series. I need to read her Fifth Avenue Rebels series really, really badly, but I've been reading her most recent series, and I just love it so much. Her romances are really cute. Some of them are more angsty. One of them is Hate to Love, and it's really good, and I love the way she does Gilded Age because it's more, I feel like it's really interesting and different from England high society. She's just such a great writer. She has actually a Christmas novella that I highly recommend. I think it's on Kindle Unlimited. She's just amazing, so definitely go check her out. And then I have Lenore Bell. I love Lenore Bell. I've only read 2 books by her, but she's become one of my favorites. I feel like her heroes are super, super swoony and just so hot for the heroine. They just want the heroine so badly, and I just appreciate that. And it's very, very good to read in a book. And I just love her heroines. I think her heroines are so headstrong. They know what they want in life. They don't need a man to help them. And I just love that about her characters. And then I have Grace Callaway. Now, I've only read 1 book by her, so you could take this with a grain of salt. I don't know if all of her books are as good as the one that I read, but I really, really enjoyed this one. It's become one of my favorites ever. And the book that I read was very spicy for historical romance. I read from the Lady Charlotte Society of Angels series, and it was just amazing. It was forbidden, it was age gap, it was amazing. Had a really, really good plot in there. The heroine is an undercover spy, and it was so good. So highly recommend that series, but I just liked how she brought the spiciness and forbiddenness to historical romances, because we don't see that a lot. We don't see very kinky historical romances, especially in traditional publishing, so I really, really enjoy her. And then I have Diana Quincy, who I just love, and I think she's only written from this one series. I'm looking at it right now. I think she's only written The Clandestine Affairs. Oh, okay, she's actually written a couple others, but this is like her most recent and the ones that I think are traditionally published. She writes really unique, diverse romances and historical, and I just love this book so much. I'm talking about the Marquess makes his move, and the hero is an undercover manservant, and the heroine is a map maker, and her husband kind of took over her familial business of map making, and basically she makes all of the maps and he takes all of the credit. And so the hero got a map from her husband, and he cheated her, like the hero, out of land, and so the hero's going undercover to kind of get intel, and he ends up falling in love with the heroine. So it's really, really good. I just really like this one. I think this author is great. I think all of these are different like affairs, like this series, because it's called Clandestine Affairs. And the 2 that I've read so far are kind of affairs, which I really liked. Like the first one is really unique. The heroine meets the hero at like this inn, and they have a one night of passion together, and she's going to visit her stepdaughter, and she finds out that he is the one that wants to marry her stepdaughter. So it's very angsty, forbidden, kind of an age gap. I think she's older than him, and I loved that one. So Diana Quincy is so good. And then I have Julia Quinn, of course, the Bridgerton series. I feel like she adds a lot of hilarity to her romances, a lot of great banter. If you want just a series to binge that has a really good family and you can always have a laugh, definitely check out that series. And then I have Lisa Kleypas. She has been writing for a really long time, since probably, I think, the late 80s. And she is just amazing. I love her romances. Her romances are very angsty, passionate, and I just love them. They're just really, really good. She is a classic, an icon in the historical romance community. And then I have Beverly Jenkins. Beverly Jenkins writes more like Western, or not Western. She does write Western, but she also writes like just romances in America. My favorite from her is Indigo, and the heroine is like a part of the Underground Railroad, and this like famed captain who is a part of the Underground Railroad gets really badly injured, and she has to take him in, and so she could get in a lot of trouble if she's found like harboring him, and she's taking care of him, and he's actually this unknown, like he is really wealthy and she doesn't know that, so he keeps like wooing her, and it's just really good. It has a lot of action in it. I just love her characters. Her heroines are so headstrong and just amazing, and they don't need a man to tell them what to do. They, you know, make their own life for themselves, and I just love that about her characters. So let's see what else. Oh, of course I have to mention Diana Gabaldon. So if you've never read Outlander, I highly recommend. I know it can be intimidating, but I just think it is so amazing. If you just want a series to dive into and to always be there for you, definitely reach for Outlander. Now, Outlander is a little bit more darker than like traditional historical romances. Like there's some dark subject matters, there's violence, so just like know that going in. I would definitely check the triggers on the series, but it's just an amazing series. It has time travel, a little bit of fantasy. The characters, you just know they're meant for each other, and it's such a wild ride, but it's just amazing. Let me see what other, oh, okay. So this is one that I've only read one book from her, but she only has 3 books that she's ever written in historical romance, and that is Lily Dalton. So, specifically, Never Desire a Duke, the Scandalous Season series, is amazing. This is actually a Christmas romance, and from this one, it has become one of my favorites of all time. It is a marriage in trouble romance, and so they were married when they were pretty young, and the heroine has a miscarriage, and there's also some miscommunication. She thinks that he cheated on her, and so he kind of leaves the country and goes out on his own to like get away and clear his head, and now he's back in town, and she's like, I want to be separated from you, like I don't love you anymore, I don't want to be with you anymore. And he's like flabbergasted. He's like, why would you want to do that? But he knows that he left her and kind of realizes that, and so they actually get snowed in at this like cottage that is one of their properties, and they rekindle their romance, and it is very, very good. I absolutely loved it. It was angsty, hate to love, second chance. It was amazing. Oh, okay, I remember who I was going to mention now. So the other author that I love, if you want a good old school historical romance, is Julie Garwood. So Julie Garwood, from the ones that I've read so far, I've read about 4 books from her. They are Highlander romances, and they're amazing. So The Secret is my favorite. The heroine is traveling to go help her best friend give birth in Scotland, and so the laird of the clan goes to like take her, and they fall in love in the process, and it's a traveling romance, hate to love, very action-packed, and it's just really, really good. I absolutely loved it. It was very rugged, and she was an English lady, so they were like, we don't like the English, and she kind of had to prove herself to the clan, and it was just amazing, and I really, really loved it. Oh, okay. So another author is Callia Reed. So specifically her Surviving Trace series. So this series, I mentioned it multiple times on my channel. It is a time travel romance set in 1912. So our heroine, basically, she owns this antique shop and she found this old picture of these 4 men. And she's very intrigued, like, what is the backstory of these men? Like, where are they from? What time period is this? So basically she ends up time traveling back into that time period, and so she switches lives with another woman who is married to the hero. And so when she comes into this time period, he and his wife actually have a horrible relationship, and the heroine and his wife look exactly the same. They're like doppelgangers. So when she goes in, he doesn't believe that she is not his wife. And so she kind of has to prove it to him, and they end up falling in love, and it's really, really amazing. It's really, really good. Etienne is the hero, and there's so much great backstory in this whole series. A lot of history, and she also, which I thought was really cool that the author did, was intertwined the history of the heroine's ancestors and like different events that happened in there. So it's a really, really great series. I love the historical aspect, especially it is set in like this deep south. Well, not the deep south. I think it's like South Carolina, like Old Town Charleston, and it's just really good. I really, really enjoyed it. Okay, so the last author I'm going to talk about is Kerrigan BYRNE. So if you love dark romances and contemporary romances, I really recommend Kerrigan BYRNE for you. If you want to get into historical romances and you do like dark romances, I recommend her because she writes more darker historical romances. Specifically, The Highwayman is the first book I read from her, and it was a dark historical romance. And so our heroine and heroine were best friends when they were younger, and they both were at this like orphanage type thing together, and they get ripped apart by something very traumatic. And so now it's the present day, and the heroine doesn't remember what the hero looks like, and she basically gets kidnapped by him, and she has to like, he has to kind of like prove to her like, do you remember me? And she's like, no. And it's really, really good. There's some action and stuff going on there. It's very angsty, dark. He never hurts her or anything because he's like loved her whole life. And I think she thought he was dead, kind of like The Princess Bride, but like the movie, and it's just so good. I really, really enjoyed it. I also love All Scott and Bothered. That one's really good too. But she is just amazing, so highly recommend her. But that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I love talking about all of my favorite historical romance authors. I really want to find some other favorites this coming year in 2023. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.